I'm Hoda Mostafa, and I'm the director at the Center for Learning and Teaching, and I'm a professor of practice at the American University in Cairo. So the Center for Learning and Teaching was established almost 22 years ago, and it's a team of educational developers, instructional technologists, instructional designers, video specialists, instructional video production. I mean, we have a very large and very, let's say, very highly skilled team. I lead the center as the director of the center, and we focus on two broad areas of the center. One is our educational development and assessment unit, and that's where we support faculty in anything related to course design, teaching strategies. We run workshops, we do consultations, we meet with faculty, we look at their course designs, and we focus on also assessing how well faculty are performing their jobs in the classroom, how well they're teaching. They can get feedback on what's happening in their classrooms in many, many ways. That's our educational development and assessment unit, and that is one of our earlier units. That's how we started at AUC. And then a more newly established unit is our digital education unit. Even though we were doing a lot of integration of technology since the center was established mainly, this unit was established in 2018 to specifically support digital education, to support extended education, which is our School of Continuing Education, our business school, the School of Gap, and other, and of course the SSE, in offering online and blended courses in extended education, in professional education. And we've produced 90+ courses in collaboration with these schools over the last 5 years or 6 years. That's basically what we do in a nutshell, and this is how the center's been operating for over 20 years here at AUC. So the types of workshops we've been offering and the services we offer to faculty, I mean, I couldn't count how many workshops we've offered, but I mean hundreds and hundreds of workshops over the last 20 years. But we tend to always try and use a needs-based approach. So we try and understand what our faculty need, what are their teaching challenges, what kinds of challenges they have around course design, new faculty support. So we run a series of workshops, an entire institute just for new faculty, whether they're adjunct faculty or full-time faculty. We also offer workshops on integrating technology into the classroom. We offer workshops on how to redesign or design your course, rubrics, assessments, you name it, depending on what the faculty need. We also offer workshops that are what we call cutting edge workshops. So we see what's trending in the higher educational landscape. So for example, with artificial intelligence in higher education, we've run multiple workshops and entire summer institutes on supporting faculty on how to reimagine their courses, reimagine their teaching, reimagine assessment in the age of AI. We're one of the oldest and the largest centers in the Middle East and in Africa. So we also do a lot of outreach, whether it's on an individual level where our faculty and staff may speak at conferences or collaborate with other universities. We work on multiple grants, so we're part of multiple institutional grants and international grants through the work that we do in educational development and digital education. And we also lead the Learning Spaces initiative here at AUC through the center. The active learning classrooms are part of a bigger Learning Spaces strategic plan. And this is really a holistic look at the learning landscape across the university, and we look at learning spaces. So whether it's formal learning spaces in the classroom or informal learning spaces like the space outside this room, the garden space, the outdoor classrooms, the library, the terrace, the entire kind of learning landscape, what happens in different types of learning, whether it's formal, informal, social learning. The strategic plan made a very good roadmap for AUC, or developed a very good roadmap for AUC, and it started with the active learning classrooms. So we have 3 pilot spaces. This is one of them, which is the faculty sandbox, where faculty can come and experiment with new technologies, can bring their students maybe for 1 or 2 sessions. We can run workshops, we can run sprints in this space. And then we have another 3 pilot classrooms. Those were the first classrooms. And in those classrooms, we learned a lot about what the faculty need, what the students need. We ran multiple surveys, and we also launched another series of another 11 active learning classrooms. So in total, we have 14 active learning classrooms. And these are designed with cutting edge technology, interactive screens, short throw projectors for students to work on, also flexible furniture. And this is really the key, the ability for students to freely move throughout the classroom, to work in pairs, to work in threes, to work in teams. Less lecturing, more active learning. And active learning, where is, in a nutshell, is where students are, yes, they're doing something, but they're doing something where they're developing their own agency and responsibility for their learning. And all these learning spaces, every single classroom at AUC is also enabled with what we call dual delivery. So that means that maybe a student can join remotely, maybe you can bring in a guest speaker, and this infrastructure, of course, was in response to COVID to make sure that the campus could stay open all the time. With these 14 classrooms, faculty submit a proposal to teach in these classrooms. They get training on how to teach in these classrooms. They work with CLT on designing activities for these classrooms. And to date, I mean, since we launched, thousands of students have benefited from these classrooms because we have 5 days a week, 10, 12 sessions a day. So we have, our most recent numbers are in the thousands of students who have benefited from these, at least one class in an active learning classroom, and over 280 faculty have taught in the classrooms. Of these faculty, of course, not all of them have been fully trained yet, but it's a very good result for a pilot because at least faculty have become familiar with the space, become excited about rethinking their courses, rethinking what they're doing in the classroom, moving away from some of the more traditional ways of teaching, even though they have their place in teaching. Lecturing has its place in teaching, but to kind of broaden their horizons for what you can do in a classroom and outside of a classroom with their students. So it's an innovation space, and it's a space for faculty to experiment and to try new things with their students. AI is really, I don't want to talk about tools, right? So AI is more of a disruption to everything. To the way we work, the way we interact with our phones, the way we interact with society, the way we interact with the world, and the way, of course, we interact with teaching and learning and higher education. So when you look at AI in higher education, the most important thing is to, let's say, contextualize it in how it has changed the way we assess learning. This is what we're focusing on at CLT. That's kind of our mandate. How can we ensure that regardless of whatever tool is being used, you know, whether it's a camera or whether it's an AI tool or whether it's a screen or whether it's, regardless, that there are a certain set of learning outcomes that we want to ensure that your students achieve at the end of a learning experience. If students don't achieve that, then we have failed them, right? So our focus at CLT is to, first of all, awareness for us to understand. So you can't really suggest something you don't understand. So to build internal capacity in our center, so everyone at the center understands how AI tools work, large language models, everything, you know, Mid-Journey, image generation versus language or language processing tools. That's very, very important. In January 2023, that's a month into the AI hype, we had workshops running for faculty. Our first workshop was called Pressure Testing Your Assessments. So let's say you assign an essay to students, put that essay prompt into ChatGPT 3.5 at the time, and it will write an essay for you. We want our students to write our essays, right? We want our students to learn from writing the essays. You learn critical thinking by writing. You learn how to critique and to analyze and to compare and to make an argument and to convince. You won't do that if you pop a prompt into a AI tool unless it's integrated into the learning experience by the faculty member. And there are certain instances where we want our students to use AI and we encourage them to use AI, whether it's an image generating tool, whether it's for ideas using ChatGPT or using Gemini. And Gemini is available to all students, everyone with an AUC, and that was made available very early on. So we want our students to know how they work, to understand the data privacy issues around it, the ethical issues around it, the biases around it, and to use it critically. We have a set of guidelines for students, and one of the guideline points is ask your faculty member if you can use AI for this assignment or not before you use AI. Because there's a reason why I would allow, you can use it for brainstorming, but you can't use it for writing. You can use it for proofreading, but you can't use it for generating the text. Write it yourself and then check it with AI. So there are different ways that faculty may ask their students to use it. Another faculty member would say, I prohibit the use of AI. because I want you to learn how to do it. So most universities now are introducing their faculty to that. That's what we're doing as a center. Also advising faculty on how to redesign their assessments, how to redesign their courses. We're going to be doing a lot of that over the summer with our faculty. And also encouraging faculty to be very transparent and to talk to their students. So we have a document on our website called How to Talk to Your Students About AI. And that's what we do, Center for Learning and Teaching. It's not teaching and learning, it's learning and teaching, intentionally. When it was founded by Aziza Louzi, who was the founding director of the Center for Learning and Teaching, she put learning first, because that's basically why we're here. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. It's a very high level, bird's eye view of AI. So there is a group, there is an advisory group that looks at all the tools, makes sure they're safe to use, makes sure they're secure, and make sure that these are the types of tools that we want our students to be using safely. And those tools, for example, Gemini was released to the community, and also Voice Coach was released. And there will be other tools that will be released, whether at a departmental level or whether at an institutional level, because AI is here to stay. We have to not only live with it, we have to learn with it, and we have to grow with it. Because I mean, there are a lot of people who are talking about AI replacing jobs. And I don't think AI will replace jobs unless we don't upskill and create new jobs. So this is a great opportunity for new jobs to be created. And you'll probably be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI for your job, not the other way around. I mean, using AI ethically is a very difficult question to answer, because in order for you to understand how the tool works, you really have to dig into their privacy statements, how they work. There are a lot of researchers that are looking into that. We're doing comparisons between different tools to make sure that the tool itself was developed ethically. There's a big question around how these tools were developed. They were developed with resources that perhaps they didn't have the permission to use. And these tools learned through a large amount of data that we really don't understand how it was acquired or how it was used. So there is an ethical concern around the development of AI tools. There was just something I read online about how Sora, which is OpenAI's new tool for video generation, and we're talking about blockbuster Hollywood video production quality, being trained on YouTube videos, and how that's not okay. Right? So if you record a YouTube video, this video, I don't expect someone to create a clone of me, but they could, right? There's enough voice of me online that if someone wanted to create a clone of my voice, they could. And that's very dangerous. And that's the world we live in. So this is where critical AI literacy is very important. Critical thinking is the new superpower, right? Being able to see a video, but that doesn't sound like Hoda. To have a heightened sense of skepticism, which is part of critical thinking. Looking for truth, looking for evidence, checking your sources, using common sense, logical thinking, skepticism, rationalism, thinking rationally. These are the skills we need because AI tools, these are tools, right? But thinking skills are far more important, in my opinion, than learning how to use a tool. And that's why you're here at AUC, by the way. That's why you're in a liberal arts university. So I know that there are a lot of students who are talking about the Grammarly subscription cancellation. And I want to go back to what I was talking about before, which is this idea of competencies and skill development. So in order to gain a certain skill, you do have to do it yourself. So when I learned how to write, when I learned how to read, when you learn how to walk, right? Nobody is doing it for you. So the difference between Grammarly Premium and the free version is the free version points out what parts of the sentence structure need to be adjusted that you need to look at, whether it's vocabulary, grammar, punctuation, whatever. What the pro version does is it does it for you. So the decision to cancel Grammarly is not to cancel Grammarly for the sake of not using AI tools. We want our students to use AI tools smartly, at the right time, for the right purpose, to add to and not take away from skill building. So in order to learn how to write, let's say our approach as a university was the students need to learn how to do it. And they can do that through writing in class, getting feedback from peers, getting feedback from their faculty, trial and error, learning from their mistakes. The best way to learn something is to learn from doing it incorrectly the first time and to have someone teach you how to do it or to suggest ways or for you to figure out a way to do it yourself in a more effective way. And that's how most skills are developed. Of course, you can learn them in an accelerated manner if you have some assistance. I'm not saying there's no role for AI-assisted tools in tutoring or in teaching. There is. But in writing, right now, I think the best way to do it would be to use a version that doesn't do it for you. And that's part of why my contribution to the decision, that's part of what we aligned on, that really students need to do it themselves. A lot of students come to AUC where their language is pre-college. And they need to take 1 or 2 or 3 courses to reach the college level English that will allow them to succeed and thrive in their majors, right? So if we always want to make sure that we are doing our utmost, our best, to make sure that when students get to their majors, they're equipped. And that's why we have the core curriculum. That's why we have intensive English courses. That's why we have the core. That's why we have scientific thinking, philosophical thinking. All of these core courses that are required is to really build this core skill set that will help you. RET 1010, RET 1020, Core 1010. These are your core, this is your toolkit that if you really spend time learning in these courses and being responsible for your own learning in these courses, it gives you a step up towards succeeding in your major and succeeding in your life. Most students that I've talked to, that I've taught hundreds of students, I'll meet them, a few of them years later, and they start to see the value of AUC when they go out into the workforce, when their skills are recognized, their ability to write well. That is another superpower, right? So yeah, that's a big part of the decision. So Blackboard and Canvas, Desire to Learn, let's see, other learning management systems, I can't think of any, but there are many, many learning management, Moodle, many learning management systems out there in the market, right? When we looked at Canvas, Canvas is the world leader, first of all, in learning management systems. They have a very robust learner experience and a very robust faculty experience. So they put a lot of investment into building a user experience, whether it's faculty or students, that is very simple, easy to navigate, aesthetically pleasing, robust, cloud-based, all of the above. So the decision was taken to move from Blackboard to Canvas so that we could provide a more robust infrastructure for the learning management system. The students, in my opinion, the students are not going to feel so much of a shift because of the enhanced learning experience. So I'm not too concerned about students, really. It's just like navigating any web page, right? For faculty, they're going to have to learn, right? So this is where we're going to be working with faculty over the summer to take their migrated courses from Blackboard and to rebuild these courses into Canvas. And this is a great opportunity also for faculty to rethink their courses, to redesign some parts of their courses, to reflect on their courses as they build them. So I think this is a great thing for AUC. We've been looking at Canvas for many, many years now, and we're happy that this transition is underway. We have maybe close to 30 faculty who are piloting their courses on Canvas this semester. We're working with them, getting their feedback, and building that feedback into our summer training. We have a student technology assistance program, which is students who work as part of an internship or a work study program where they will be supporting faculty, helping them build their courses on Canvas. And we have a team, of course, at CLT who will be supporting faculty throughout the summer and throughout the fall. So CLT's role in the Campus 2026 campus expansion, is mainly around the Learning Spaces Strategic Plan. So the Learning Spaces Strategic Plan sets out different typologies of learning. So social learning, experiential learning, informal learning, formal learning. And these are, let's say, user or human-centered. We ran multiple workshops and surveys with our community to come up with a set of typologies for learning spaces with an international group of consultants. So this is our roadmap. And it's not unique to AUC. This is what many universities are looking at space and how this space influences the learning that happens in the space. So we'll be consulting on the campus expansion plans. We'll be providing advice and survey design, supporting the team. We're not part of the core team, supporting the team in the learning spaces design of the 3 spaces that are part of the initial campus expansion. And we've been working with them closely over the last few months under the leadership, of course, of Dr. Khaled Tarbeya. But yeah, we're part of that kind of thinking and understanding what best suits our users, our community, and the broader community that's going to be using these spaces moving forward.